Hey everyone, welcome back. In this my review of Higurashi episode 3. Wow. Very interesting. This episode really helped turn my emotions quite a bit. Now, there's one major thing in this episode that I didn't quite get at first, but something that Rika actually said via an inner monologue actually kind of made me understand it a bit more, I think. Basically, Satoko, for whatever reason, doesn't like Rika in this universe, okay? And although the others are kind of conflicted, I think they kind of want to be friends with her, but on the other hand, they kind of don't, and we do learn why. I think we do kind of learn why later on in this episode. And it's mainly because when they're basically not really chewing out Rika, but when they're basically talking with her and trying to explain things to her, you know, I'm sitting here watching the episode and I'm like, why are they saying this stuff to her? Because at first I couldn't really see how this was her fault. Satoko just seemed like a fucking bitch in this universe, which completely conflicted that earlier on in the episode they did say that Satoko, despite being a bit of a bully, did want Rika to join the club and be her friend. And I'm like, yeah, she's doing a really fucking great job showing it now, isn't she? But something that Rika said, or in her monologue, that apparently she was a lot different in this universe. And obviously this Rika is different from the Rika that they know. So she actually didn't remember any of it. And probably something I would have said was like, because from my personal experience, I've always been such an introverted person to the point that I was an outspoken person too, to the point where I've actually been able to hurt people without even realizing it. Like, I say something which I think is perfectly normal and it actually hurts someone who's close to me, and I don't even realize it. If I were her, I probably would have said something along those lines, because that's actually a very common thing. Okay. So if I were her, I probably would have said something along those lines, okay? I also would have looked at Satoshi and basically told him, well, she didn't do this obviously, but what I would have done is basically look at Satoshi and told him, I'll tell you what, I'll try to mull my feelings over, and if you actually get Satoko to confess that she wants me to join the club too, then I'll join. I would have tried to make a deal with him there, because, you know, Satoko and Satoshi are obviously extremely close, so if anyone could get her to do that, I'm sure that it'd be Satoshi, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, shit. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode, though, okay? And we also learned something interesting, that apparently, select women of the Furude family actually end up being the reincarnation of Orishiro. The current one being Rika's mother, which is pretty interesting. And apparently Rika told Dr. Yamamoto everything. And it's kind of vague whether he actually believes her or not. And apparently Rena was eavesdropping in on this conversation. So I really enjoyed this episode. It was very interesting. Even though that it kind of hurt to listen to it at first, my favorite part was probably the conversation that Rika had with Mio and Satoshi and Rena. Okay. Whew. Shit, because like I said before, this Rika has done nothing wrong. Okay? And that was my thought at first. I thought they were just being kind of assholes at first, and that Satoko was a bitch. But when Rika had her inner monologue about guessing that the Rika from this world was a lot different, and that's why she wasn't actually in their inner circle yet, that actually explained a lot. So there's another thing that's drastically different. Apparently Rika was kind of a bitch in this world. So yeah, and next episode supposedly is going to like end this current arc, which I'm really loving this arc. I really am. I think in terms of quality, it actually stacks up there with some of the arcs from the first. Well, yeah, with the arcs from the first and second season of of Higurashi, Higurashi and Higurashi Kai. Maybe not as good as any of them, but still, it's pretty damn good. Like, it really is, so far. Anyways, I'm really interested to see probably the conclusion next episode, okay? So, yeah, also, we do get in I believe it was in this episode, where apparently Rika is able to communicate with the Hanyu that she knows, because that's the only Hanyu. There is no Hanyu in this world. But this like gem, I guess, that she found in the Furude Shrine torture chamber. Apparently, Hanyu's in that gem, or at least able to communicate with Rika from that gem. Okay, but for some reason she's unable to enter the world that Rika's at right now. And in order for Rika to go back, she needs to find a way for Hanyu to get into her world. Because we learned that apparently when Rika was hit head-on by that truck, she was basically decapitated. She was killed. Okay? And Hanyu used some sort of power that she swore to never use again to try to save her. Now, we do not learn what that power is. I really hope that we do next episode, though, provided the next episode is the last episode of this arc. Okay? But she used some sort of power that she swore never to use again in order to attempt to save Rika, and apparently that fucked everything up. One thing I wonder, though, is that when Rika finally goes back to her world, is it going to be like this revival sort of thing, or is everyone except for her and Hanyu going to forget that she even died in the first place? That's a really interesting thing, because if it's the latter, I kind of vote against that, because not really a fan myself of those types of things where people forget and whatnot. But either way, though, I really love this episode. Better than the last one, definitely. And I cannot wait to watch the next episode. So anyways, overall, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. These after you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.